All right, so the next thing I want to do is wire up the presentation layer to the domain layer. And to do that, it's going to start off pretty simple, but we're going to run into a quick issue here. Let's make it simple on ourselves by just worrying about the first scenario, which is when the user clicks the button. So on click, we'll go ahead and create a new event. Order button click event is just fine. And let's go ahead and go there. Actually, let me use F12 on my keyboard. Actually, let me right click and select here, let's go to the default.aspx.cs. Okay, so we had everything formerly in the button one click event. Let me make sure this is right. Yeah, good. Okay. So, we have the basics of what we need to do here. We need to create a new DTO, order DTO, like that. Now, all we need to do in between here is to fill in the blanks, so to speak. So, what we'll do is order dot, and I'm not going to let it create the order ID here. I don't think that's the job of the presentation layer. I think that's a domain layer specific issue, or maybe even a presentation layer if we don't really care what it is. So I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to handle that in the next layer down. But I do need to choose the size. Okay, and it just occurred to me that we had not selected, we have not added those options into our drop-down list boxes. If we had, we would do something like enum.tryparse, and then we would give it the drop-down list dot the size drop-down list dot selected value, and then we would have like an out called size. So we would do DTO dot enums dot size type equal size, like so. So it would look like that. Okay. But that means that we need to go back here and make a few changes. Now, I'm pretty comfortable with working directly in the code view like this to add list items. It's pretty easy to do. You just put the text equals and then the value equals. Now, if you want to use the technique that I demonstrated earlier with going out to the designer and using the chevron and going through the little designer window, that's fine. I find it quicker just to do this. So let's remind ourselves what some of these items are. What we need to have: small, medium, and large. So let's copy that. In fact, I'm just going to copy all of this. It's going to be easier to work with it by pasting it in, like right here, and then I can delete it when I don't need it anymore. So small, that'll be the text, and then I'm going to do, the value will be small in just a string, and I want to make sure to match that with the enum value of small, medium, and large. Because that's what we're going to do in the try parse. Okay, so whatever is in this value, we're going to try parse it into an enum. So we want the text to be more descriptive, and then we'll only really use the value. Same thing here with this. Regular, thick, and thin. So And I think there was one more thing I needed to do here, so let's just do this. ASP list item text equals choose one dot dot dot, and we'll go selected equals true, and I'll do the same here. And obviously we don't want that to be the selected one. Okay. So in this case, what we'll try to do is we'll do something like this. Now it's all coming together. So that should work. And I'm still not crazy about that. Let me do one more thing here. I'm going to create a private static DTO enum size type determine size, like that. Let me grab that out. And so if it's not, then I'm going to throw new exception, could not determine pizza crust. Or I could just ignore it. Well, let's just see how it works out. And I guess I don't need static, do I? And so let's return size. All right, sorry, I had to think through that a little bit, but I like that solution better. So now I could just do this order.size equals determine size, like that. And that should be nice and orderly. So order.crust, I'm going to do the same thing here. Determine crust. Control period on my keyboard, generate the method stub, and here we'll do the same thing. Enum crust type, crust. If not, enum dot try parse crust drop down list dot selected value. Then we'll do an out crust. Again, if we can't do it, then we might throw something. Otherwise, we'll return a crust like that. And we'll do throw new exception. Could not determine pizza crust. I see my error here as I'm looking. I don't think I need an exclamation mark. So order.crust. All right, so then order.sausage equals sausage checkbox checked. Order.pepperoni equals pepperoni checkbox.checked. Whoops. Equals order dot green peppers equals green peppers checkbox checked. Order name equals name text box dot text. We'll worry about validation later, but yeah, that's something I'm going to need to do. Order address equals address text box text. All right, what did I do wrong here? Why are you? Okay, good. Zip equals zip text box text, and then order dot, what was that? Phone equals phone text box text. We're going to need to do another one of these. Order dot payment type equals determine payment type, and we'll go control period, generate the method stub, take that out. DTO.enums payment type, and then return payment type. Whoops, payment type. Like so, and then we'll do if not enum.tryparse, passing in the whoops. Nah, I can't do it that way, can I? So here's what we'll do. If cache radio button dot checked, then we'll set a payment type equal to cache. Else, if credit payment checked, then we will do payment type equals credit. Finally, we will throw an exception if it's neither of those. Throw new exception, payment type not selected. Alright, so that should satisfy that. Obviously, we're not going to set the completed or anything like that. This is the only things that we really need to set. Okay. Pretty good about that. All right, so, well, I know what we need to do. We didn't determine the total amount, did we? Well, we'll worry about that. That is an issue for the domain layer to figure out based on all of our selections here. All right, so let's go ahead and run it and see where the problems lie, because at this point I'm not really clear on what I need to do next. So we'll choose one of these, and we'll choose one of those, and we'll do that and that, and then we'll deliver to Bob and some such, and then whatever, credit order. Okay, so now let's see if we get that in the database. Show table data. All right. Whoops. Okay, we kind of got it, but look at it. It created like just a series of zeros. So one thing I did not do. Let's delete that. Whoops. Delete it. And delete that. And so we do need to do a few things to that order in the domain layer. So let's go to the order manager here. And the one thing we're going to need to do with this order DTO dot order ID equals new equals GUID dot new GUID. Okay, that's one thing. And the next thing we need to do is determine the total cost. So now we need to talk about total cost. How are we going to calculate the price of the pizza? A couple different ways we can go about it. We could use constants for the amounts, but I seem to remember that we did not want to. They may change over time, and that's the key phrase that I was looking for. If we make it a constant, constants are really for things that never change, and just to remove magic strings, not really meant for a price. We would typically keep that in some sort of configuration file or within a database table. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a database table called the pizza price, and then I'll just reference that as a lookup table. If this was a real application, I'd probably cache that data off. So I'd cache it for 1 hour. I would grab the data, hold it in memory for an hour, and then after the cache is expired, I go back and I look and I get that data again. We're not going to do that here, but in a real application, that's what I would do, because I don't want to keep hitting the database every time somebody wants to add something to their pizza. I don't want to have to do a lookup for the price, but we will do it for this example, for this application. So to get started on that, well, I tell you what, let's pick that up in the next video. We'll drive that spike all the way through. So we'll stop right here. We'll pick it up in the next video. See you there. Thanks.